You ever look around your home and feel like your stuff is owning you? Like every drawer's groaning under weight you can't explain. Every corner hiding things you meant to deal with. One day, but never did. Truth is, clutter ain't just physical. It messes with your head, your heart, your peace. At Rustic Pantry, we don't just talk about tidying up. We talk about clearing space to live again. In this video, we're diving deep, not with Pinterest perfect hacks, but with real, gritty, soul-soothing ways to declutter, organize, and breathe again. So take a breath. This might just change the way your home feels. Let the guilt go first. There's this quiet, nagging voice in your head when you pick something up. A gift you never liked. A pricey gadget you swore you'd use. A coat that still has the tag on it. That voice whispers guilt, makes you hesitate, makes you hold on. But you gotta realize, keeping something out of guilt doesn't honor the item. It buries you. You're not throwing away memories or people or money. You're releasing pressure. You're letting go of what didn't serve you the way you hoped. You're saying, it's okay that it didn't work out. It's okay I changed my mind. We all do. That pasta maker? Yeah, maybe you thought homemade meals were gonna be your new personality. But life got busy, and now it's just taking space and collecting dust. That's okay too. Forgiveness begins with objects sometimes. And once you learn to forgive yourself for those things, something weird happens. You breathe better. You think clearer. The room feels lighter, and so do you. Create drop zones where life actually happens. Life's messy. No matter how organized you are, shoes will get kicked off near the door. Keys tossed on the nearest surface. Bags dropped wherever arms give up. Trying to fight this? It's a losing battle. Better to work with it. Create what I call drop zones. Little spots that absorb the chaos without letting it spread. A basket near the front door. A small table with a bowl for keys. Hooked for backpacks, right where kids usually dump them anyway. You're not just organizing stuff, you're organizing life. It's not about forcing new habits, but redirecting old ones. A drop zone isn't permission to be lazy. It's permission to be human. You can't demand perfection from family or even from yourself, but you can make systems that meet you where you're at. When a mess has a landing place, it stops becoming a mess. It just becomes part of the rhythm. Do a night sweep every evening. This one's small, but powerful. Every evening, before bed, just walk through your main living space for 5 minutes. Pick up anything out of place. A mug, a sock, a random receipt. Doesn't need to be perfect. Just a gentle reset. I call it the night sweep. And it works like magic because it's not about deep cleaning. It's not about scrubbing or organizing or folding laundry. It's about keeping clutter from snowballing. Little messes turn into big messes real fast. But when you catch them early, they don't stand a chance. Over time, this becomes automatic. A habit, like brushing your teeth. You start seeing things instead of ignoring them. Your home begins to feel more alive, more loved. It's amazing how a few minutes each night can change the whole feel of your morning. You wake up to calm instead of chaos. And honestly, that's a gift. The use it or lose it challenge. Try this, especially in your kitchen or bathroom or that overstuffed garage. Take everything out, literally. Spread it all where you can see it. Then for the next 30 days, make a game of it. Every day, use something you haven't touched in ages. That weird spice, that body scrub, that tool. If you don't use it by the end of the month, out it goes. No more, maybe someday. You gave it a chance. It didn't make the cut. Gone. This little challenge does something important. It breaks the habit of passive ownership. We get so used to things just being there, we forget to ask if they're actually doing anything for us. And when you're done with the 30 days, you'll be shocked how much lighter your space feels. It's not just about less stuff, it's about active stuff. Tools at work, clothes you wear, shelves that aren't screaming. That's the difference. The garage isn't a graveyard. Garages, attics, basements. That's where clutter goes to die, right? Wrong. That's where clutter hides. Out of sight, out of mind. Until the day you open that door and boxes tumble out like angry ghosts. Look, I get it. These are the deal with it later spaces. But later never really comes. Not unless you make it. So make it. Schedule one weekend. Just one. Pull everything out of your garage or attic or spare room. Go full-on chaos mode. Then look at each item and ask the hard question. Why is this even here? If it's broken, toss it. If it's a duplicate, donate it. If it's still in a box from your last move, you probably don't need it. The garage should be functional, not forgotten. Tools should be accessible. Storage should be labeled. And you should be able to walk through it without ducking or climbing. Treat it like any other room. Give it the respect it deserves. Design your space for the life you have now. We hold on to stuff for imaginary futures. Baby gear for kids we might have. Craft supplies for hobbies we never started. Fancy dinnerware for parties we haven't hosted in years. It's hope, kind of, but also denial. Your space should serve the life you actually live, not the one you keep waiting to live. That means being brutally honest. Do you really need 6 sets of bed sheets? Do you even like scrapbooking? When was the last time you used that bread machine? Let go of what doesn't serve you today. Not because it's useless, but because it's not yours anymore. The you from 5 years ago might have loved it, but you have different priorities, different dreams. Your space should reflect that. When you surround yourself with things that match your present, not your past or possible future, something shifts. You feel grounded, real, honest, and that's where peace lives. Let silence help you decide. Sometimes the hardest part of decluttering isn't the stuff. It's the noise, the opinions, the doubts, the what-ifs. You pick up an old gift and hear the giver's voice. You touch a book and hear your inner critic say, "You should have read that by now." You're not sorting items, you're sorting voices. That's why you need silence. Not just quiet, but actual silence. Turn off the music. Put down the phone. Just sit in a space and let it speak. What belongs here? What doesn't? What feels heavy? What feels light? Your body knows. Your spirit knows. But you can't hear it over all the noise. So be still. Touch each item with presence. Let your gut, not your guilt, be your guide. Some decisions will be hard, some easy, all worth it. Because when the noise fades, the clarity comes. And that's where the magic happens. Your later pile is lying to you. Don't trust it. That come back to it later pile, it's a liar. It pretends to buy you time, but really it delays decisions. And clutter? It feeds on delayed decisions. Sure, sometimes we need a minute to think. But a whole pile? That's just fear in disguise. Fear of letting go. Fear of making the wrong call. Fear of regret. But here's the truth. Regret is rare when you're honest. And freedom? That comes fast. So shrink your later pile. Better yet, ditch it completely. Make decisions now, one by one. Yes or no? Keep or go. You'll feel the power in that. The certainty, the control. And you'll stop dragging yesterday's indecisions into today's peace. Memories don't live in objects. This one's hard. Maybe the hardest. You open a box. Find her dad's old watch. A school trophy. Grandma's faded apron. You freeze. Can't throw it out. Can't keep it all either. So what do? First, understand this. Memories are not inside the object. They're inside you. In your bones. In your breath. In those weird, quiet moments when something triggers a feeling. A scent. A song. A flash of that old kitchen wallpaper. That apron might remind you of soup simmering and laughter echoing in a small warm house. But keeping the apron doesn't keep the moment alive. You do. And guess what? You can let the item go and the memory stays. It doesn't fade just cause the object's gone. If it helps, take a photo. Write a few words. Start a memory box, but make it small. One box, not 10. You honor the past by remembering, not by hoarding. Organizing is never final. It's a relationship. People think organizing is a one-time job. You buy some bins, label some drawers. Voila, problem solved. Nah, not quite. Real organizing is alive, ongoing. It's not a task, it's a relationship. Your home changes when your life changes. New job, new baby, new season of stress or growth. Everything shifts. So your system's got to shift too. That drawer you perfectly arranged last spring, it's a mess again. That's not failure. That's life. You evolve, and so does your space. What worked before might not work now. You'll tweak, you'll adjust, you'll try again. And that's okay. Organization isn't a destination. It's a conversation you keep having with your space, with your needs, with your energy. It asks, how do I feel in here? What's helping? What's not? So yeah, you'll re-declutter, rethink, restart. But that's not starting over. That's staying connected. That's living awake. That's what real homekeeping looks like. If you're still here, maybe something in this spoke to you. Maybe it tugged at your chest a little. Reminded you it's time. Time to stop saving things just in case. Time to stop storing the past and start making space for the life you've got now. At Rustic Pantry, we believe home isn't just a place, it's a feeling, a rhythm, a shelter for your soul. So if that's what you're craving, stick around. We've got more stories, more wisdom, and more calm, quiet ways to reclaim your space. One drawer, one memory, one deep breath at a time. Until next time, friend, keep it slow, keep it simple, and keep it real.